What's up, you guys? Today I'm coming at you with another tag video. I was just about to take this makeup off. This was what I was wearing in the Christmas tag, but I really like it, and so I wanted to film one more video wearing it. So I am gonna do the Perfect Palette tag number 2, because I didn't do the first one, and I thought it would be fun because I love me some palettes. They are my favorite, probably like makeup splurge item. It's really nice to get like a good quality palette. So I have the ones in here. You can see how like kind of thick it is with palettes. Then I also have these ones back here to talk about as well. So I have, there's 7 questions. I cut one from the tag, but there's one from the original Perfect Palette tag, which I might do in the future. Maybe I might like do it in the complete opposite order. So if you want to see that, let me know down below. But without further ado, let's just get started. So the first question is, would you rather have an eyeliner, a brush, or nothing included with your palette? Now, I love a good brush with a palette. I know that sometimes it adds a little bit of extra cost to purchasing the palette, but I think if it's a good quality brush, it's kind of worth it. The ones that I like the most are the ones that come in the Anastasia palettes. I have 2 Anastasia eyeshadow palettes, and they both came with the exact same brush. And this is a dual-sided like brush. You have kind of like a shader, maybe like outer V packer brush. And then you have this really nice like fluffy blending brush, which is what I use the most out of both of these ends. But the same brush came in both of the palettes, which is super nice, and they're the same size, so you can pop the brush into either one and, you know, take whatever palette you want. So I would rather have a brush as long as it's good quality. Number 2, palette you have hit pan on. I have 2. I've hit pan on a couple shades in a couple different palettes, but the ones that I have hit pan on the most are, well, there's 2 of them. One of them is a face palette, and it is the Anastasia Contour Kit. You can see that I've used up 3 of the pans, 2 of the highlighters, and 1 of the contour shades. I love this palette. I'm currently in love with mixing these 2 contour shades, although when I hit pan on this shade here, I probably will be finished with this because individually these 2 shades are too dark for me. But I do love this palette. This was the first ever like contouring product I ever had. And then I have also hit pan on, I think, 5 shades in the Lorac Pro 2 palette. Now I have a couple of shades in here that are broken, so I can't really like flip it to really show you, but I have totally finished the shade Buff. I've hit pan on Snow, Beige, Nectar, which I tried to repress, but there's still a little pan there. And then the shade Cocoa. So I've hit pan on a lot of shades in this palette. This is one that I'm kind of trying to like finish up, or like, you know, pan that palette, if you will. So yes, love that as well. Your favorite naked palette. Now, I didn't know if this question referred to your favorite like brand Urban Decay naked palette or your favorite like nude palette. But for the naked palettes, I only have 1. I have the Naked 3. I did have the original Naked, but I didn't really like it that much, so I wound up reselling it. But the Naked 3 is my favorite of the 3 or 4, what are they at now? 4, 5 palettes that they have. I just think the shades are gorgeous. They are a little bit like glittery, but I feel like if I purchased like a glitter glue instead of just a primer to go with them, these shades would be really, really nice. I've actually fallen in love with these darker shades as of recently, especially this Blackheart shade. I've been using a lot in the outer corner and the crease. But I know a lot of these like lighter shades are really glittery and probably need a better base. Then I'll start loving them again. But yeah, so out of the brand of the Nakeds, I love the Naked 3. But as far as like a nude eyeshadow palette, the original chocolate bar has my heart. Like, this is another one that I've hit pan on a couple shades. This shade here I use in almost every neutral look I ever do. This is the shade Salted Caramel. And then this shade down here is just a nice like base highlighty shade for under the brow or, you know, all over the lid before putting on your actual colored shadows. I just think that this is a gorgeous palette. I love the original Naked. I love all the burgundy and like these kinds of shades here. Just gorgeous to me. This is my favorite like nude palette. Then it says favorite holiday / limited edition palette. Now this was kind of hard. A lot of my limited edition palettes are at home because I don't know, I just don't use them as much. But this was one that was limited edition that I rave about all the time, and I feel really bad that nobody can really get their hands on it anymore. And it is the Too Faced Pretty Rebel palette. First of all, I love the packaging of this, the gold with like the leather little like strips. I think it looks so edgy and cool. But then the colors inside are gorgeous as well. You get 4 kind of neutral shades, which I've been kind of leaning towards a lot lately, surprisingly. And then you get like 6 little pops of color. This shade up here is kind of one of those like blue brown type shades. You get a really nice gold, a hot pink, a blue, like a icy blue silver color, and then a black with some micro glitter in it. I just think these colors were really, really edgy and just unique for Too Faced. I feel like lately they've gone into more of like the cute, like girly territory. And I feel like it would be really cool to see something like this back on their shelves. Let me just wipe off that swatch. Now I'll just have a big swatch on my arm. Number 5 was the question that I like eliminated from the palette tag because I didn't really have an answer to. But that was, which palette do you wish you could repurchase or have a backup of? There's really not a palette that I wish I could like have a backup of, only because I don't really see myself using up an entire palette. I know I said I want to finish up the Lorac Pro 2, but when that happens, I don't really think I'll repurchase it, just because while it's a great palette, I kind of want to like expand my palettes and like, you know, move on to something else pretty much. But there's really nothing that I would be like, oh, I need another one. The only one I could really, like, if you really pushed me to pick one, it would be probably the Chocolate Bar palette. But again, I really don't see myself ever finishing this up. And even if I did, I feel like I do have similar shades to this within my collection as a whole. So I don't think it would be like, I ran out of my Chocolate Bar palette, I need to like run out to Sephora right now and get a new one. But again, this is like a common thing in their line. Like, they're not getting rid of this. This is one of their top sellers. Like, they're not going to get rid of the Chocolate Bar palette, so it's not an issue. You know what I mean? So number 6 is the shade you wish was sold individually. A lot of the ones that I do like are sold individually. Like, I love the Anastasia Beverly Hills shade from their World Traveler palette in Pink Champagne, but I'm pretty sure that this shade is sold individually. Like, it's just a gorgeous, like, metallic, almost wet looking, like, pink shade. I mean, and it's gorgeous, but again, I'm pretty sure it is sold individually, so if I wanted to, I could just go out and get it. Same with these other 2 shades from this palette as well, the Morocco and the Fudge shade. While I have shades like this, you know, in other palettes, I do really like that color, or those colors. But as far as one that I wish was sold individually, I don't know. I mean, like, I love a lot of shades, but there's none that really I'm like, I need it. Like, I'm not going to be able to survive if I don't have it. And the ones that I do like, you know, are sold individually. So I think that kind of answers that question. I don't know. Like, I have shades that I like, but they are sold individually. So number 7 was the wild card question, which is like where you can pick a question from the first perfect palette tag and answer it like in this one. And I chose which palette is least used / your biggest regret purchase. Least used, I would have to say my Vice palettes. I don't have them here with me, they're at home, but I have Vice 2, Vice 3, and Vice 4 from Urban Decay. Those rarely get used, and they're beautiful palettes. Like, I should be using them. When I go home for winter break, I feel like I'm not really going to bring a lot of the palettes I have here home. I'm going to try and focus on, like, the ones that I left at home. But those ones, you know, because they're $60 a pop. That's like, you know, Katie used her math skills. That's like $180 of palette just sitting there. But yeah, those are beautiful palettes. Again, they kind of have the similar issue that the Naked 3 has, where it needs a stickier base, I think, to really shine. But they're beautiful, but they're my least used / possibly biggest regret because of the price point and of the amount that I've actually used them. And then my last question is, which palettes would you recommend to a friend? I feel like I'm gonna be on a tangent. There's 2 that I would recommend, those being the Too Faced Chocolate Bar Original, because of the beautiful neutrals that almost anyone can use. I would say anyone, you know. There's light shades, there's dark shades. I feel like this is a beautiful palette for all. And then also the Anastasia Modern Renaissance palette. I hate to be on this bandwagon because I kind of am over the fact that most YouTubers are like raving about this, but it is a really nice palette, and it's something that I don't have a lot of shades like this in my collection. These like warm reddish neutral shades that I've really been kind of into. These go beautiful with rose gold shades. You can do kind of like a cooler look on the top with like these mauvey purples and like, you know, darker browns, or you can do a warmer shade down here with the golds and like the tannish browns and oranges. I think this palette is super versatile, even though at first glance you're kind of like, oh, it's a bunch of warm shades. I don't know if I like that. You can get slightly cooler looks if you want, or you can get your more warm looks. I think combined with these 2, with the more like neutral colors and then the reddish kind of shades, this would make for a beautiful eye look. So with that being said, that is the end of the Perfect Palette Tag Part 2. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and ding my little bell. I think it's over here actually. Ding my little bell, and that will notify you of my new uploads, if you're so inclined. Let me know if you want to do, or if you want me to do the first perfect palette tag. And let me know what some of your answers to the questions are down below, because I will be very interested to hear. Because like I said, I love me a good palette, and you know, I have a problem with my palette addiction. So yeah, let me know down below your answers to my questions. And until next time, I'll talk to you guys soon. I hope you have a beautiful day. Bye!